My name's Ed Perlmutter. I'm the congressman for the 7th Congressional District, and very fortunate to be joined today by Chris Conroy from Yeti Cycles as part of our Local Heroes series. And I know he would say that he and Yeti are not really heroes, but they are. And they've really stepped up in a way to help our first responders and our medical personnel by changing their manufacturing from mountain bikes and apparel and things like that to masks, and provide gloves to our first responders who are so in need of this as we deal with COVID-19 and the infection and disease that it's brought across the nation and the globe. So I'm going to turn it over to Chris for a second to tell us what he does at Yeti and how they got involved in changing their manufacturing from dealing with bicycles and mountain bikes to manufacturing masks. So you're on, Chris.
Yeah, thanks, Ed. It's nice to meet you via the interwebs. So anyway, yeah, so I'm president of Yeti Cycles and one of the co-owners. And the other co-owner is Steve Hugendorn. And Steve was a production engineer back in his early days. And, you know, we saw this need happening, right? And you kind of feel like you can't do much in these situations. And Hug is what Steve Hugendorn's nickname is. You know, Hug started looking into it. He was a graduate of University of Wisconsin, and they had an open source shield called the Badger Shield. And so you could actually go and get the stuff online. And he saw how we could make it. And then he started trying to figure out if we could source different materials. And of course, all these materials are in high demand right now. So we had an issue with trying to find the elastic, which is, you know, we're making a plastic shield. I should have had one here to show you, but we're making a plastic shield and it has an elastic band and foam on the front. It's a pretty simple part to make. So we couldn't find the elastic. So we had friends in the outdoor industry at Black Diamond and Smith, and we knew that they made that for goggle straps and for headlamps, and we contacted those guys. And as you can imagine, the outdoor industry is great with this kind of stuff, and everybody wanted to help out. And they donated 10,000 yards or 12,000 yards, whatever it was, enough that we could make the shields we wanted. The initial production was supposed to be 10,000 units, right? Which is a fair amount. Because of the contributions we got from other people, and because of the momentum of everybody at Yeti getting so stoked to have something positive they can do during this time, we cranked it up to 20,000. And we're about, I think we're 13,000 of them are built. We've delivered just under 12,000. And it's been really nice because we have a demo crew, which usually gets people on our mountain bikes on the trails. And so we have these vans that we can fill full of shields and deliver them to hospitals and deliver them to first responders, Flight for Life, policemen. I mean, it's really been a rewarding experience for us.
Well, you know, one of the places where we were caught flat-footed as a nation was in these protective gear.
Yeah.
And this virus has been so darn contagious, you know, it really endangers the folks who are on the front line like this. So the first responders, the firefighters, the EMTs, law enforcement, but especially the medical staff. So to have you guys step up like this and kind of change your manufacturing based on a University of Wisconsin design is really, I would have much rather have it been a University of Colorado design, but it's just something that I think makes me proud, and I'm just talking about it. Obviously, your folks have got to feel so patriotic and so supportive of our frontline folks. So why don't you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, it's, you know, it's been really rewarding. We have you know, it seems like everybody we know knows somebody in the healthcare industry. We have family members that are nurses. We have, you know, we have other people that are customers of ours, friends of ours. And, you know, we just kept hearing this need, and, you know, we can't, you know, do N95 masks, right? That's kind of a real specialty thing. And so we looked to see what we could do, and the shield was something that we can do. And the cool thing that we learned in the process is by having a plastic shield covering the mask, they can actually get more wears out of the mask. And, so and then as we kind of got through the process, it really was our intent just to make what was on the open source. But then we start getting these nicer materials, and, we're a high-end mountain bike manufacturer. We really appreciate high quality stuff. So it was kind of fun because it started to step up a little bit in terms of quality. We were getting a little bit better plastic, a little bit thicker plastic than they typically use. And what was cool about that is they could then use the shields for a longer period of time. So that was, one of those things. We made some improvements and people could use them for a longer period of time. And then you get these great letters, right? You get emails and notes from people just stoked that we were able to contribute. And for us, it's, it's one of those feel-good things that the entire staff's behind. And in this, in this day and age, especially with everything that's going on, business is off, you're trying to figure out what's next, and something like this, you don't quite know what to do sometimes. And this gave us something to do. So it was something that allowed us to have focus and grounded us quite a bit as a company.
Well, I gotta say, just the fact that you kind of re-engineered things, and you're a bunch of engineers and technicians and, bike enthusiasts, outdoor enthusiasts. And so you combined all of that to do something good for our community where there was a real need. And so repurposing your manufacturing gave you all sort of a new purpose. And I got to tell you, that's what we're seeing throughout our community. And you guys exemplify this, is a willingness to help, a willingness to step up to help us get through what is a moment none of us ever anticipated, and
for sure.
One that's difficult. So,
well, and one of the nice things too is as we went through this process, we had a skeleton crew basically assembling bikes and shipping them in our warehouse because we could have tons of social distance in the warehouse. And then we had all of the office staff working from home. And the office staff heard about this initiative, right? Because we've been talking to the staff about it all along, and they're like, how can I help? And so on the weekends, a couple days a week, you'll have everybody who typically works in the front of the house will volunteer their time on the weekend to make it happen and put out shields. We've also had people just flat out say, can I come and help? Can I come work and make shields? And we haven't been able to do that only because we don't have the infrastructure to be able to separate people enough to be able to accommodate that. But it's been really heartwarming to have other people come and say, hey, I'm stoked with what you guys are doing. We want to be a part of it. What can we do? And that's been the spirit since we started this whole project. People are more likely to figure out what they can do to make it better than anything else. Everybody just wants to get through this the right way.
Well, and you just used two words, can do, and that's a spirit, a can do spirit. And, I really, you have given me inspiration as I listen to how you and your partner and all of your staff have just stepped up in this moment. You also got some help, I understand, from Utah ski industry, I think.
Yeah, so the straps that we got were from Black Diamond, and Black Diamond is an outdoor manufacturer in Utah. The straps actually came from Utah as well. The guys at Smith Optics, good friends of ours, and those guys make goggles, right? So the goggle straps is what
I have Smith goggles.
There you go. And then the headlamp straps that we got from Black Diamond were cool too, because there was some adjustment in them, right? So that when people put it on, they could actually adjust it to their head. So that was an added feature that we didn't really expect, and it's been really well received.
Were you able to acquire some gloves or masks in addition to the manufacturing?
Yeah, we were actually. We do a lot of apparel manufacturing over in China, and one of our vendors, turns out, makes surgical masks. I forget the different levels. They're not N95s, but they're kind of the entry level masks, and they also make the gowns, right? The full surgical gowns. So we talked to those guys, and we brought in 24,000 of the masks and have donated those. And then we also brought in 240 of the gowns because that's what we could get. And so that was a little bit selfish getting the gowns because my son's fiance is tiny. She's an extra small, and I knew that she probably needed it more than anything.
Right.
So we got a disproportionate amount of those, an extra small, but then we donated the rest, of course. So it's anywhere we can help, we're trying, and because we had that pre-existing relationship in the supply chain channel, we were able to just tap into that and make it happen.
All right. Now I want you to just tell us a little bit about Yeti. I mean, you guys are so well known in the mountain bike business, and you've been such a good corporate citizen in Colorado and in the Golden area. Tell us a little bit about Yeti.
Yeah, so Yeti Cycles was actually started in 1985 in California, moved to Colorado in the early 90s, and it was always focused on high-end mountain biking and specifically racing, bettering the breed through racing bikes. And as a result, it has to be the highest quality. We've had a number of world champions ride our product, and currently on the team we have 2 world champions right now. So we love racing. We also love riding mountain bikes, so kind of whatever that entails. And so we have a factory in Golden, Colorado. I think we're 65 people now. It vacillates depending on the season, so call it anywhere from 55 to 65 depending on the season. We have an engineering crew that is actually in a different building right at the base of Apex, which is one of our favorite riding trails. There's the old Mountainsmith building, the red building that was then later the church,
Yep.
The Bedrock Church. So we have a engineering lab there and a test lab there, and those guys are kind of off-site so they can do all the secret stuff. And then we have the rest of the staff in corporate circle, which is in riding distance to 5 trailheads, which is super important for us as a company because we're ride driven. We want to make sure that everybody on staff can ride their mountain bikes at lunch. Everybody knows exactly what we're doing because they're part of the process, right? We're involved a lot locally with Comba, which is a local trail organization, high school racing, we support very strongly.
Sure.
Also, any racing in Colorado, like the Big Mountain Enduro. We started that series, and we don't run it anymore, but we still send our athletes there. So yeah, we're super excited and stoked to be part of Colorado. The Golden community in particular is super strong on the mountain bike side. Jefferson County Open Space has been pretty progressive in the way they manage mountain bikes on the trails. Takes a little wrangling sometimes to make sure in a populated area like this that we can all user groups are taken care of, but I think Jeffco's done a pretty good job there.
Well, all I can say is I've used up 2 of my 9 lives on mountain bikes. So
you got 7 more. You better get after it.
My shoulders and stuff, I'm not sure I can take it anymore. So, but no, I just appreciate the way you guys have found a positive way to contribute through your engineering acumen, through your manufacturing facility, through your people who go out and do the sales or the demos. I mean, you've used the entire business to contribute in a time when there is some real need, and I'm proud that you're in our area and that you've taken the time to be such a good neighbor. So any parting remarks? I just want to thank you. And this series on local heroes is really about folks who've found ways to make people's lives better or safer or a little more calm. And you certainly have done those kinds of things. So Chris, however you want to close.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, first and foremost, I'm the guy that's in front of the camera, but Steve Hoog is the guy that made this whole project happen. So big shout out to him. Also to our staff, because there wasn't a requirement that our staff got involved in this, right? We had some assembly and operations guys that we were keeping busy for sure. But our staff that came in and volunteered on the weekends did an awesome job. And even the guys who are working on a day-to-day basis on the assembly of bicycles, you know, they were doing the same old thing, right? They've been doing that forever and they're happy to do it. But when this whole project came along, you could see everybody was really excited to be able to contribute. So for us, you know, we're super glad that we're able to contribute to the community, but selfishly, it's made people in the company really happy and proud of what we do. And that's been a really nice kind of unintended consequence of this, but not surprising at all because we have awesome staff. So I wouldn't expect anything else.
Well, I just want to thank you, Chris Conroy and Yeti Cycles, for stepping up for our community, helping medical staff and first responders, and being one of our local heroes. You guys really, I have goosebumps just thinking about the contributions you just made. So all the best.
Thank you.
We'll get through, you know, this rugged moment, but especially with the kind of contributions and service that you've provided to us. So Chris, stay out of trouble and stay healthy.
All right. Thank you. Take care.